I made a video on the Madden cover curse and the NBA 2K cover curse. But what about the NFL 2K games? Did these games have a cover curse? Many people complained that I was stretching in those other videos. Drew Brees injuring his thumb almost a decade after being on the cover is apparently a stretch. So in this video, I promise there will be no stretches. Also, if this video gets 5,000 likes, I will make an NBA Live cover curse video with no stretches, because that would be messed up. The NFL 2K games were awesome and lasted from the original NFL 2K to NFL 2K5. There was one last 2K football game called All Pro Football 2K8, which was a fantastic game despite not having the NFL license. If you want to learn more about the NFL 2K games, I have a video on both NFL 2K5 and All Pro Football 2K8. Now for the curse. Randy Moss was on the cover of NFL 2K, 2K1, and 2K2. Similar to the NBA 2K curse, where Iverson was on the cover of the first few games, Iverson also didn't get affected by the curse that badly, unless you consider the fact that he didn't win a championship in his career. Well, Moss never won a Super Bowl. Moss was a star receiver on the Vikings, but shortly after being on the 2K cover, he was traded away to the Oakland Raiders. He was unhappy in Oakland, and it looked like his career was on its last legs. But then, Moss was traded to the Patriots, where he flourished. With Tom Brady, Moss went on to break the single-season touchdown record with 23 touchdowns. The Patriots went 16-0, only to lose to the Giants in the Super Bowl. The next season saw Brady tear his ACL, leaving Moss with Matt Castle. Moss would play one more season with the Patriots as the team lost in the wild card round. The next season, Moss was traded to the Vikings and then released and signed by the Tennessee Titans, and his numbers plummeted. He then went to the 49ers only to lose in the Super Bowl. He retired shortly after. Moss didn't win the Super Bowl because he was a cover athlete on the NFL 2K games. The very well-known and not at all made up by me NFL 2K cover curse got him good. Reportedly, a few months ago, Randy Moss caught a stomach bug. This can be attributed to the NFL 2K cover curse. Tough to see. BrianUrlacher was on the cover of NFL 2K3 after winning Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2000 and being a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year after a dominant 2001 season. Urlacher replaced Randy Moss as the cover athlete of the newest NFL 2K game. Big mistake, Brian. Everyone knows about the NFL 2K cover curse. He should have avoided it. Anyways, the Bears had 3 seasons of mediocrity, and in 2004, Urlacher missed most of the season with injuries. In 2005, however, Urlacher won Defensive Player of the Year with a great bounce-back season. The next year, the Bears went to the Super Bowl, only to lose to the Colts. In 2009, Urlacher dislocated his wrist, only because he was on the cover of NFL 2K3 at one point. After recovering from his injury, Urlacher stated that he felt more powerful than ever. A year later, he sprained his MCL, and then a year after that, he retired. He was voted to the Hall of Fame in 2018, but he never won the big game. He also had some injuries in his career. This is only because of the NFL 2K cover curse. The curse is ruthless. Warren Sapp was on the cover of NFL 2K4. He was coming off of a Super Bowl win with Tampa Bay as the best and most disruptive defensive tackle in the NFL. What could go wrong? Well, a year later, he was a free agent and signed with the Oakland Raiders, the team he defeated in the Super Bowl. He lost 20 pounds before the season and went on to only have 30 tackles and 2.5 sacks. The next season, he started playing better, closer to his all-pro form, but then he injured his shoulder and was out for the rest of the season. In 2006, he returned to form with a 10-sack all-pro season, but he was rising in age after 2 forgettable seasons. He lost 50 pounds before the next season, only to have a mediocre year and retire. His career only went south after grazing the cover of NFL 2K. The curse is real. But wait, there's more! In 2010, Sapp was arrested and charged with domestic battery, and NFL Network took him off the air, although the charges were later dropped. Then, in 2015, Sapp was arrested for soliciting the services of a prostitute. Oh no! The curse strikes again! NFL Network released Sapp after this. Sapp's personal life and decision-making was clearly a result of the NFL 2K cover curse, because free will is an illusion. Oh wait, I almost forgot. Sapp was in trouble with the IRS, owing lots of tax money, obviously because of the cover curse. In 2012, he filed for bankruptcy because of the cover curse. Wow. If only he had never been placed on the cover of NFL 2K4, maybe his life would have been different. Terrell Owens was on the cover of NFL 2K5, the last NFL 2K game, the football game that I still have wet dreams about. Owens had just signed with the Eagles and the team went all the way to the Super Bowl, but then lost. Owens played through injury in the Super Bowl and it wasn't enough to win. It was all downhill from there for Owens. He started having issues with Donovan McNabb, who shortly after tore his own ACL, ruining any chance of success for the Eagles. Owens then started acting crazy. He was seen wearing a Michael Irvin Cowboys jersey despite playing for the Eagles. He then went on ESPN and criticized his quarterback publicly. The Eagles released him at the end of the season and he signed with the Cowboys. After some weird events, such as a super emotional post-game interview, Owens was released by the Cowboys after a less than stellar stay with the team. He then went to the Bills, then the Bengals, then the Allen Wranglers of the Indoor Football League. The Seahawks signed him for an offseason before cutting him a year later, and Owens retired. Man, if only he wasn't on the cover of NFL 2K5, maybe his career would have ended differently. There were no other factors at play. Barry Sanders, Jerry Rice, and John Elway were all on the cover of All Pro Football 2K8. They are all old now and will die someday because of the curse. You hate to see it.